this is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.
The Larry Kudlow Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
A new posting from Truth, Mr. Trump's social media account. Remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open up the Hormuz Strait? Time is running out. 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them. Glory be to God. President Donald J. Trump. We talked about that deadline, so it's Monday, and we welcome back Ambassador Robert O'Brien, former National Security Advisor, presently Chairman of American Global Strategies. Robert, welcome. Thanks for doing this. Happy and Holy Easter. What do you make of Mr. Trump's Truth social posting? 48 hours before all hell will rain down.
Well, blessed Easter to you, Larry, and he's giving the Iranians a little Easter egg, I guess. President Trump is the most transparent president in history, and you and I both know that. He says what he means, and he means what he says. And we've had a pattern here with the Iran situation. He sent Kushner and Witkoff to Geneva. He told the Iranians that they had a certain amount of time to do a deal. He extended that time. They didn't do the deal. They didn't believe him. And they got hit with the Midnight Hammer first a few months ago, and then they got hit with this Operation Epic Fury now. Now he's told them after basically every target on the air tasking order has been hit, all 10,000 military targets, in an exquisite campaign by our airmen and Marines and sailors. He's now told them, I'm going to turn to your economic, I spared your economic targets to give you a chance to do a deal, but now if you don't do a deal, I'm going to hit your economic targets. He's being very transparent with them. He's telling them what's going to happen if they don't do a deal, and we'll see what the Iranians choose to do. But I think they've learned a lesson. Hopefully they'll execute on it.
Well, I haven't heard a word in a while about potential deal. The last 3-4 days, I haven't heard a peep, and I haven't seen any postings, on Truth Social. So he is, as you say, transparent. He has talked about several times going after their electricity and their power. I presume reopening the Strait of Hormuz would be very important. Maybe going after at Karg Island, which is their economic nerve center. I mean, what do you think? This is the last Pentagon push that people talked about a week ago. And again, I haven't heard a word on, potential deals. So 48 hours to go. You think he'll hit these spots?
I think he will, Larry. And look, the reason is this regime doesn't seem capable of changing. The problem with this regime compared to other regimes is it's motivated by religious fervor and extremism. And so they're not necessarily rational in their decision-making processes. So it's highly likely that they're trying to figure out how to survive, how to start rebuilding their nuclear program, rebuilding their ballistic missile program. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal today that they're already importing ballistic missile fuel from chemicals from China in the midst of the war to try and restart that program. And if that's what they think is going to happen, they're going to basically lose the means to purchase all those items and to pay the scientists and to engage in espionage across Europe to steal what they need for their nuclear program. If they have no oil revenue, they've got nothing. And so if they aren't going to do a deal, then the president's going to have to eliminate their ability to pay, to take away their resources that they would invest in their programs. And that means Karg Island, that means the gas fields, That means the oil fields. That means their economic infrastructure, their ports, their rail terminals, their electricity grids. Basically, as President Trump said, falling back to the Stone Age so that they can't produce the revenue they need to invest in their ballistic missile and their nuclear programs, which seems to be the most important thing to the regime.
This is Roger Stone for American Sovereign Bullion. Since 2020, the U.S. dollar has lost over 20% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to rise. Call 844-272-2428 or go to asbgold.com now to get your free gold and silver guide and learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver delivered to your door or held in a gold IRA today. So go to asbgold.com now. Don't wait for the markets to drop. That's asbgold.com.
Talking to Ambassador Robert O'Brien, former National Security Advisor. Robert, I'm hoping that we have a Venezuela model applied to Iran where we reopen the Strait of Hormuz, essentially take it over, but really any oil revenues to Iran should be, deposited in escrow in the U.S. Treasury Department. We will oversee all of that, and we will oversee any of the spending of those revenues, the disbursement of those revenues. So we will hold, a complete chokehold on Iran's economy.
Right. What you're describing is basically the old Iraq oil for food model that we put in after the first Gulf War to try and control it. Saddam found ways to corrupt that and to try and to get around it, but look, we'd like to do that. That would be the ideal, outcome here. But I don't think the Iranians are going to play ball. And if they don't play ball, they're going to have their oil. They're not going to have revenue in account at the U.S. Treasury or the Federal Reserve. They're going to have no oil fields to produce. They're going to have no terminals to export from. They're going to have nothing. And I fear for the Iranian people, and I feel bad for them. But that's the route we're going.
What about this? So two planes were shot down. The second plane was reported. We rescued both people in the plane, and the first one we rescued one, but there's a tremendous search and rescue operation going on for the second. Now we're praying for him. We are praying for him. I think he was the weapons guy in the airplane. But people are saying, well, that shows the war is not a success, and that shows that Trump is doing the wrong thing, and that shows we should immediately get out of Iran. I mean, does this change anything in your view, shooting down these two planes?
No, what it shows is how dangerous it still is for our operators, and especially our pilots, who are at the tip of the spear. And look, this is close to my heart. I've got a daughter who's an Air Force pilot and a son-in-law who's an Air Force pilot, and they go to SEER school, search evasion, resistance, and escape school, and they're trained for these sorts of things if a plane goes down. But gosh, you pray for our pilot, you pray for his family, his wife and kids, or his parents, and so that's important. But what we need to understand is we've hit 10,000 targets, Larry. And we lost two planes. I mean, it's two fighter planes. We lost a refueler early on in the conflict with terrible loss of life to that crew. But this is perhaps the most exquisite military operation ever run. Certainly, air operation ever run in history. The way that these pilots and our battle managers have put this thing together is just incredible, and the success is incredible, and we need to focus on the success. Look, when we engage in a military operation, we're going to have casualties and deaths, and that's a tragic part of it. But these men and women are fighting to keep us safe and promote American interests in the best tradition of American fighting men and women. And they're doing a great job. And so far, we've been very fortunate that going up against an army of 2 million people that the Iranians have, and all the Chinese anti-aircraft weapons that they had, and the Russian kit that they had, and we've suffered so few losses that I think that's what we need to focus on, while at the same time keeping this pilot, this Rio, the backseat, Goose from Top Gun, in our prayers. We need to pray for him and his family, but we also need to understand the skill and professionalism and capability our Air Force and Navy aviators have shown in this campaign.
Yeah, it's like a boxing match, Robert. So, one guy's getting clobbered round after round, and he finally lands a punch or two, but it doesn't change the fact that he's going to lose the fight. I'm just so interested in Mr. Trump's Truth Social today. 10 days to make a deal. That's Monday. I thought it was 8 p.m. Eastern time, but I could be wrong. And time is running out, and all hell will rain down on them. I mean, that's just, he's sending them a message. And as you said, he's a transparent president. He is sending them a message, Robert. Just last 30 seconds.
Well, look, what President Trump is doing with this operation is well within the traditions of American national security policy. It's like Reagan did with Operation El Dorado Canyon against Libya, bigger, but in that same vein. Just cause that George H.W. Bush did against Noriega, and even Woodrow Wilson sending General Pershing down to stop Pancho Villa. So this is a punitive, what military analysts would call a punitive expedition. He's calling it a short-term excursion. He's doing it masterfully, and we're going to see the culmination of it coming in the next week or two based on his Truth Social post. And God bless the men and women of our Air Force and Navy and Army and the Marines who are doing such a great job implementing the President's orders and protecting us.
Ambassador Robert O'Brien, who's now chairman of American Global Strategies, former National Security Advisor. Robert, happy and holy Easter to you and Lo Marie. Thanks for helping us, as always. Folks, we're going to take a quick break, and on the other side, Bruce Blakeman, Nassau County Executive and running for the New York governorship against Hochul and Mondami. I'm Kudlow. We'll be right back.
The Larry Kudlow Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.